Joining us in the studio now to break down the new state budget here in Israel is Chen Herzog. Hi, Chief Economist at BDO Israel. Thank you for coming here. Chen, as we just saw, the new budget will include child support budgets. Billion shekel will go to public housing, and for the first time, unemployment benefits to self-employed. What are the challenges of this budget?
Well, you know, there are a lot of details in the budget, a lot of controversy, but you want to understand the challenges of this budget, actually any budget. There are two main issues at stake, two main issues at controversy. One is how to increase our standards of living, how to stimulate growth, and the second is how to reduce inequality, what we call welfare economics. And the key challenge here, the key debate in every budget decision is which is more important. I can give you two examples. For example, if you reduce corporate tax, then you increase or stimulate growth, but you don't do anything to improve inequality situation. On the other hand, if you give more child support benefits, then you, of course, reduce inequality.
You address the masses.
But you don't do anything to stimulate growth.
Does it have to be either or? Any measures that address both?
Yeah, this is the key issue. The key challenge, I think, of a good policy is to address both. And unfortunately, we haven't seen enough of the measures that address both in this budget. For example, public transportation. Investment in public transportation is an investment that both stimulates the economy and reduces inequality.
Inequality, yeah.
Or, for example, extended daycare. If we invest in extended daycare, extended school day for the kids, and coordinate the school day hours with the work day hours, then we stimulate growth and we reduce inequality. Unfortunately, the decision was to postpone the extended school day to 2021.
Now, speaking about postponing things, I want to talk to you about the process of, passing this budget, because it took us forever for the Israeli government to do so. Is the government now safe? Because we know how challenging and how difficult it is political-wise to pass a budget.
Yes, well, frankly, the first budget the government passes in Israel is always the easier one. So it looked like it was difficult, but that was easy because the details were already agreed upon within the coalition agreements. And the key challenge for this government will be to pass the next budget. And with a majority of just one member, I don't think that there are many politicians that will put their money that will be able to do it in the current coalition.
And Chen, another thing, in order to finance everything that we've just heard of in this last report, Israel's new budget also means increasing Israel's deficit from 2% to 2.5% of the state's GDP. So are we living in this world in which, addressing inequality is more important than looking to help the next generations?
Well, it really depends what this deficit is used for. What is a deficit? When we're talking about government deficit, it's actually a loan that we take today, and our kids or the next generation have to pay back. And depends what you do with this loan. If you take this loan and just consume it and spend it, then you're right. We're spending today and we're leaving it for our kids to pay for it. But if we're taking this loan, this deficit, and we're building infrastructure, and we're building the light train in Israel, then we would say, okay, it's just fair enough that we invest today for an infrastructure that will also serve the next generations.
And we always were familiar with this, that a big share of Israel's budget always goes to Israel's security. And it is the case in this budget as well, right? But what makes Israeli public very, very furious about the military budget, the security budget, is first the budgetary pensions, and second, sometimes it's the involvement of the ultra-Orthodox in the security effort. Yeah,
from an economic point of view, there are really two key issues. One is the pensions of the professional military, that it's a burden that's becoming more and more difficult, and it's not part of securing our defense expenses today. It's paying for the defense expenses.
A bill.
It's a bill we're paying for the previous years. And another problem is again, the inequality in terms of the burden. And from economic point of view today, that only about 50% of the population actually serves in the army, the fact that they are not being compensated for their service is a major source of inequality.
Are you talking about professional military? Is this something
No, I'm
that
not
Israel
talking
can deal
about.
with?
I'm not talking about professional military. There are two separate things. One is if you're drafted, doesn't mean that you don't have to be paid for your service. And it doesn't mean that you have to go to a military, to a professional army, but there is drafting people and not paying them is actually similar to taxing them 100% income tax. And it's not fair that two young people, one goes to the army, he pays 100% income tax, and his brother or that doesn't go to the army and does a similar job, and he doesn't pay such a high tax rate.
I want to take you back for a second to the deficit topic which we addressed before. Israel's Bank of Israel's governor, Karnit Plug, she has warned that a higher deficit might risk the financial market. So, is it just the government bending to populism over on the expense of a secured market?
Well, I think it's the responsibility of the government to take into account wider a range of possibilities, of considerations than the central bank. The central bank is responsible for monetary stability, for inflation. It's not responsible for growth. It's not responsible for equality. So I think the government does right when it weighs the entire
Thank you so much, Chen Herzog.
spectrum.
We have to be done with these interesting words. That wraps up our show for today. Stay tuned every day for all your business coverage here. Thank you for watching.